Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready to take another deep dive? You've brought a whole stack of entertainment industry news. Looks like it's from Further and Better's TV, Film and Media Industry International News Roundup, and I know you're hoping we can make sense of it all.
It's like we're panning for gold, trying to find those nuggets of insight, from this whole mountain of information.
Yeah, exactly. And believe me, there are some gems in here. From the rise of streaming procedurals, we've even got AI taking over Hollywood, and it even looks like we've got a certain dark wizard's career regrets. It's all here.
Some juicy gossip is always fun.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get to that. But first, something that really jumped out at me. It looks like streaming platforms are finally dipping their toes into the world of procedurals.
Oh, yeah?
Remember like Max's The Pitt and On Call on Prime Video?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those were interesting.
It is pretty fascinating because procedurals, they're like the bread and butter of broadcast TV, but streamers have been pretty much all about that serialized content, designed for binge watching. I think this could be a sign that they're trying to reach a wider audience, maybe people who prefer that kind of familiar episodic format.
It's kind of like comfort food.
Yeah. What do you think? Are you more of a binge watcher or do you like waiting for that weekly episode? I'm curious.
I'm kind of both depending on the show, but it's a good point. I mean, I do wonder if it's a sign of streaming, like maturing as a medium, as it kind of becomes more mainstream. Maybe it needs to offer, a greater variety to appeal to all those different viewing habits.
Yeah, it's a really good point. It'll be interesting to see what kind of procedurals actually make it in the streaming world. Will they stick to those classic formulas or will they try to innovate within the genre?
Right, right. All right, well, next up is something that's both exciting and a little unnerving. AI is everywhere in the entertainment industry. We're not just talking about algorithms like suggesting what to watch next, but AI actually creating content itself.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing, Like Amazon is using AI to enhance its X-ray feature on Prime Video.
Oh, right.
Now it not only gives you trivia and info about what's on screen, but it can also generate AI-powered recaps of what you're watching.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool.
And TCL TV Plus is taking it even a step further.
Oh, yeah.
They're launching films that are actually written and directed by AI.
Wow. It's wild. I mean, this raises some big questions, right? Can an algorithm really be creative? What happens to human artists in a world where machines can, crank out content?
That is a really good question.
Yeah, on one hand, AI could definitely make content creation faster, cheaper, and more personalized, But on the other hand, it could lead to a loss of originality and that human touch that makes art so special.
It's like opening a Pandora's box.
It is.
Speaking of seismic shifts, get this: YouTube viewership on TV screens has officially surpassed mobile in the US.
Wow, I did not know that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I guess it makes sense, though. It's a sign of how, the lines between traditional TV and online video are just blurring, right? YouTube used to be something we watched on our phones, but now it's becoming like a dominant force on the biggest screen in our homes.
Think about it. When was the last time you watched YouTube on your TV? It's probably more often than you realize. Maybe you were watching a music video or a funny clip or even, like a whole documentary.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, this shift has massive implications, right? Like for advertisers, content creators, and even just the future of television.
absolutely. All right, so let's talk about some good news, or at least it seems like good news at first. A recent study found gender parity in leading film roles for the first time, ever,
Wow, that's huge.
which is amazing.
That's definitely a milestone worth celebrating.
Yeah.
But before we get too excited, we look at the details. While there's finally gender balance in leading roles, that same study found that age disparity persists. Unfortunately, there are still fewer female characters over 40 compared to their male counterparts.
Oh, so it's a step in the right direction, but there's, obviously still a long way to go.
Yeah, true equality means representation across all ages, all ethnicities, all backgrounds.
For sure. Okay, so let's hop across the pond to the UK, where broadcasters are grappling with a familiar foe, YouTube.
Oh, is that right?
It is. Channel 4 in particular is facing this dilemma. YouTube has this incredible reach and engagement,
Right.
right? But if they embrace YouTube too much, they risk losing viewers on their own platform, which makes sense.
It's tricky. It's a tough spot to be in. They're trying to find that sweet spot where they can use YouTube to promote their content without giving too much away.
It's a tough balance.
Yeah, it really is. It makes you wonder if this whole if you can't beat them, join them strategy can really work in the long run.
Exactly. And what do you think? I mean, have you noticed any UK broadcasters using YouTube differently? Like maybe more clips from their shows, behind the scenes stuff, or even full episodes being uploaded?
I don't know. I'm going to have to pay more attention now.
Yeah, it's definitely a trend to watch. Okay, well, now for that juicy gossip, I promise. You won't believe who almost turned down a legendary role.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, so remember Voldemort from Harry Potter?
Oh, of course. Who doesn't?
Well, Ralph Fiennes, the actor who, brought him to life so brilliantly,
Oh, yeah. He was amazing.
he almost said no to the entire franchise.
Really?
It's true. Apparently, he initially felt a bit of snobbery toward the project, which is wild to think about.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? It's amazing to think how different those films could have been without him. I mean, he was so chilling.
He was.
It's fascinating to see, how even seasoned actors can misjudge a project's potential impact.
Totally.
It really makes you wonder what other iconic roles were almost played by different people.
I know. It's like a whole alternate universe of movies.
It really is. That would be fascinating to see.
It would be.
Wow. All right, well, what else have we got?
We have lots more to unpack. Buckle up. We're going global next.
Welcome back to our deep dive, into all things entertainment.
Yes, we're ready to uncover even more fascinating stories and trends that are, shaping how we consume and create content these days.
And this time, we're going global.
Oh, very exciting.
Our roundup has news from all corners of the world.
Oh, wow.
Giving us a glimpse into how the industry is evolving across, different cultures and continents.
Very cool. Well, first up, Latin America.
Right.
Eugenia Velez, who is the VP of Programming and Marketing at RCN, which is a major Colombian network, she gave an interview about their content strategy.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see how telenovelas, those classic dramatic serials, are still hugely popular in Latin America.
It really speaks to the enduring power of storytelling that resonates with those cultural values, right?
For sure.
But Velez also highlighted how RCN is embracing live programming, as a key differentiator in today's fragmented media landscape.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Live events like reality shows and competitions, they create that sense of urgency and shared experience that you just can't get with on-demand content.
Totally. It's like appointment viewing.
Right, exactly.
Something you have to watch live.
And it's not just about, what people are watching, but how they're watching it.
Right.
Velez emphasized the importance of, adapting to evolving viewing habits. Finding that sweet spot between traditional and digital distribution, which is something every media company is dealing with.
For sure. That's the big challenge everyone's facing.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of reaching audiences, there's one format that just seems to be universally appealing, and that's the quiz show.
Oh, quiz shows, yeah.
The UK quiz show, One Question, is actually getting a French language adaptation in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that simple premise of answering one question correctly for a cash prize is clearly resonating across cultures and languages.
It is. I mean, it's a format that taps into our, innate curiosity and that love of trivia.
It's true.
Plus, there's that element of suspense, and the thrill of potentially winning big.
Absolutely.
No wonder it translates so well, across borders.
And it's not just quiz shows crossing borders. TV Asahi and Smart Dog Media are partnering for a new talent show called Song vs. Dance, which is being filmed in Tokyo. I mean, that format with music and dance and competition, that could easily find a global audience.
Oh, for sure. People love watching talented performers, pushing their creative boundaries.
It's inspiring.
It is. It's inspiring and it's entertaining regardless of, what language they're speaking or their cultural background.
Okay, well, this next one is sure to spark some debate.
Oh, what is it?
A new documentary called Predators is taking a critical look at the controversial legacy of that TV show, To Catch a Predator.
Oh, wow. That show was a cultural phenomenon.
It was.
Remember, with its hidden camera stings and those dramatic confrontations. But it also raised some, complex ethical questions about the methods they used to expose those potential predators.
Do you remember watching those episodes?
Oh, yeah. I was glued to the screen.
I mean, it was captivating, but also, unsettling, knowing that real lives were being impacted,
Yeah, for sure.
And this documentary is going to delve into those really complex issues.
Oh, that's interesting.
Was it a form of justice? Was it protecting children and exposing criminals? Or was it exploitative? Was it creating this public spectacle of humiliation and potentially ruining lives, without due process? It's a tough one to grapple with.
Yeah, there are no easy answers there.
It makes you think I'm adding this to my watch list.
Yeah, me too. It's really important, to examine those issues and understand the power and responsibility of media, especially when you're portraying sensitive topics.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's lighten things up a bit with some casting news that has me excited. Kristen Wiig and Bill Murray are teaming up for a new comedy called Epiphany.
Oh, now that is a comedic duo I never knew I needed in my life.
Isn't it great? Wiig's quirky energy and then Murray's deadpan delivery. I can already picture the hilarious situations,
It's going to be amazing. The premise itself sounds like, a recipe for comedic gold, an heiress who has to marry a rich husband to avoid financial ruin. Throw Wig and Murray into that mix, and I'm just expecting, like, laugh out loud moments galore.
I know. All right, well, speaking of high expectations, the anticipation is definitely building for Wes Anderson's latest masterpiece, The Phoenician Scheme, which is set for a May release.
Oh, this is the one, right? With all the, the beautiful visuals and those quirky characters.
Oh, right.
Wes Anderson fans know what they're getting into.
Exactly.
It's always an event when a new Anderson film comes out.
And this one sounds particularly intriguing. It follows a wealthy European businessman and his nun daughter, who are played by Benicio del Toro and Mia Threepleton.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And, of course, it wouldn't be a Wes Anderson film without a stellar ensemble cast. So
Who else is in it?
we've got Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Scarlett Johansson, just to name a few.
Wow, stacked cast.
It is.
And the fact that it's being shot in Germany by Studio Babelsberg, which is known for its historical significance and world-class facilities, just adds another layer of, excitement to it.
Yeah, it's a film that really promises to be both visually and narratively rich.
Okay, let's shift gears now to a genre that's always a thrill ride, sci-fi thrillers.
Oh, yeah.
The Gorge is generating a ton of buzz, and it's got this amazing cast, including Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy, and the one and only Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, I love her.
She's amazing. Mika Weaver actually gave an interview where she praised Taylor-Joy's performance in The Witch, calling it one of the scariest films she's ever seen. I mean, that's high praise coming from, a horror icon like Sigourney Weaver.
Absolutely. And with Scott Derrickson directing, who's known for his mastery of suspense and horror in films like Sinister and Doctor Strange, The Gorge is definitely on my must-see list. What about you?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. It's got all the ingredients for a captivating thriller, Talented cast, intriguing premise, and a director who knows how to keep you on the edge of your seat. What more could you ask for?
Exactly. And speaking of horror, Shudder, which is that streaming service dedicated to all things spooky, they've acquired the rights to 825 Forest Road.
Oh, interesting.
Shudder is really building a solid reputation for curating, high-quality horror content.
They are.
Yeah, and this acquisition, it's a supernatural horror film from the director of Hell House LLC, sounds like a perfect fit for their platform.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It's smart of them to focus on a specific niche. They're really becoming that go-to destination for horror fans, offering that, curated selection that you can't find anywhere else.
For sure.
All right, well, back to the world of television now. Channel 4 has renewed that comedy series, Big Mood, for a second season.
Oh, that's great news.
Which is great news.
Yeah.
It features Nicola Coughlan and Lydia West, and it's actually been their biggest comedy streaming launch since Berry Girls.
Wow, that's saying something.
It is. It seems like audiences are really connecting with those, female-led comedies that offer relatable humor and explore those, the complexities of female friendships.
They're so good.
They are. Speaking of female-led projects, there's exciting news about Netflix's adaptation of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Oh, I loved that book.
I did too.
Such a captivating story.
It is about this, aging Hollywood starlet who finally reveals the secrets behind her 7 marriages.
Yeah, and now Maggie Betts, who directed The Burial, is set to helm the film, which is a fantastic choice.
She's perfect for it.
She is. She's known for directing films with, real emotional depth and nuanced characters, which is perfect for a story like this.
I can't wait to see it.
Me too.
Okay, from glamorous Hollywood to the heart-pumping world of action, Liam Neeson is leading a new thriller called The Mongoose, which is currently filming in Australia.
Oh, Liam Neeson, he's become synonymous with these action thrillers,
He has.
He brings that gravitas and intensity to every role.
He does.
And this one has all those, those classic elements.
Yeah.
The high-stakes chases, the intense fight scenes, and that, brooding hero fighting against the odds.
And the supporting cast is pretty impressive, too.
Oh, yeah. Who else is in it?
Marisa Tomei, Ving Rhames, and Michael Chiklis are all on board for this one.
Wow.
It sounds like the perfect action-packed escape,
It does, and if one action hero isn't enough, Jason Statham is also set to star in an untitled action thriller from director Rick Romanois.
Oh, cool.
Do you remember Greenland?
Oh, yeah.
He directed that.
He did.
And it was a surprisingly effective disaster film.
I'm curious to see what he'll do with Statham because, Statham brings that, unique blend of physicality and charisma to his action roles.
He does.
And filming in the UK and Ireland should provide, a visually stunning backdrop for those intense action sequences.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, switching gears now to music.
All right.
HBO is developing a music industry dramedy called The Band. And guess who's starring in it? Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller, back on TV.
He
Right
is.
there.
It's been a while since we've seen him in a leading television role.
It has.
He's playing a pop mogul who's trying to revive his fading career by forming a new act. And the team behind Search Party, known for their, sharp and witty writing, is creating the show.
I love Search Party.
So good.
That's a combination that has me very intrigued.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Search Party perfectly captures, like, those anxieties and absurdities of millennial life with that, dark comedic edge.
Oh, it's so good.
Man, I can only imagine what they'll do with the world of the music industry.
Right. I know. I can't wait to see it.
And with Media Rez and Stiller's own Red Hour Films producing, the band has some serious comedic talent behind it.
For sure.
It could be huge for HBO.
Yeah, it could be.
Speaking of HBO, they're bringing back a fan favorite with Dexter, Resurrection. Michael C. Hall is returning as Dexter Morgan, the serial killer with a code, after that, somewhat controversial series finale.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
It's a risky move, revisiting a show that had such a definitive ending.
it is.
But the addition of Peter Dinklage to the cast, I think, is a brilliant stroke.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, he's playing a billionaire venture capitalist with a dark side, which just sounds like perfect casting for Peter Dinklage.
He can do it all.
He can. He's got that ability to be both, charming and menacing, making you wonder what his character's, true intentions are.
For sure. And with production already underway in New York, we won't have to wait long to see how Dexter's story continues and how Dinklage's character impacts his world.
I can't wait.
Okay, well, from fictional serial killers to real-life secrets, director R.J. Cutler is taking us back to the Cold War era with a documentary about Camp Century.
Camp Century. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
What is it?
It's a covert U.S. military project where they were building this network of nuclear missile launch sites beneath Greenland's ice sheet.
Wow, talk about ambition.
I know, right?
And secrecy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm always drawn to stories about, hidden truths and clandestine operations, especially during the Cold War.
It was such a tense and paranoid time.
It was, and this project sounds like something straight out of a spy thriller.
Yeah, it does.
The documentary is going to delve into the logistical challenges and ethical considerations of this, top secret project, offering a glimpse into this, little-known chapter of Cold War history.
Fascinating. Okay, well, speaking of historical figures, we've got some casting news that is sure to excite fans of classic tales. Sean Bean is stepping into the role of the Sheriff of Nottingham in a new MGM Plus series about Robin Hood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Sean Bean playing the villain. I did not see that coming.
It's an interesting choice.
It is. He's, often cast as the hero, so it'll be interesting to see him, embrace the darkness of the sheriff.
And this new series is being described as like a modern take on the Robin Hood legend. So it'll be fascinating to see how they update the story for, contemporary audiences while staying true to those themes of justice, rebellion, and, fighting for the oppressed.
Those themes are so timeless,
They are.
They resonate across cultures. Robin Hood's fight against corruption and abuse of power continues to inspire us, even centuries after, the legend was born.
Okay, and speaking of reaching new audiences, Disney Plus is expanding its ESPN hub to Australia and New Zealand.
That's big.
It is a big move.
It really shows how Disney is, strategically leveraging its brands to create that comprehensive streaming experience, right, for subscribers all over the world. It's not just about competing with other streaming services anymore. It's about, building an entire entertainment ecosystem.
For sure. For sports fans down under, this is a game changer. They'll have access to thousands of hours of live sports, ESPN channels, studio shows, and, on-demand replays. It's like a sports lover's paradise.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And on that topic of, expanding reach, Keshet International is partnering with Little Dot Studios to license more factual content for their AVOD and FAST channels, which is interesting.
It shows how traditional media companies are, adapting to the changing landscape of television, finding new avenues to distribute their content and reach a broader audience.
It's smart. They're not limiting themselves to those traditional broadcast channels anymore. They're embracing the digital realm, forging new partnerships just to get their content out there.
Which benefits everyone involved, right?
Totally. Content creators get a wider platform, streaming services get more programming, and viewers get more choices.
Win, win, win.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of choices, looks like we're going to have to make a tough one.
Oh, what's that?
We've reached the end of part 2, but don't worry, we'll be back for the final act of our entertainment extravaganza.
Oh, can't wait.
Stay tuned, deep divers.
We're back for the final act of that entertainment industry deep dive.
Get ready for, even more blockbuster news, behind-the-scenes stories, and a glimpse into what's next for the world of movies and TV.
Sounds good. Let's kick things off with a genre that's always a crowd pleaser. action thrillers.
Okay, well, Dave Bautista, who's, made that seamless transition from the wrestling ring to the big screen, he's starring in a new dystopian sci-fi thriller called Breadnought.
Oh, interesting. The premise sounds intense.
It is Bautista's character is fighting to save his dying daughter in a world where humans are coexisting with this alien species that's unleashed this deadly plague. So, high stakes.
It's a story that combines like action and sci-fi with, a lot of emotional depth. Bautista has really proven himself as a dramatic actor. I'm excited to see how he tackles this role.
Yeah, me too. And the directing duo, Carey Murnion and Jonathan Milott, they're known for their really gritty, visually striking style. You can see it in their film Bushwick. I think they're going to bring a really unique edge to this dystopian world.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, this next one's sure to send chills down your spine.
Oh, lay it on me.
A Cape Fear series is coming to Apple TV+.
Oh, wow, really?
It is. And it stars Amy Adams and Javier Bardem.
Wow.
And hold on to your seats because it's being executive produced by Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese.
Talk about, Hollywood royalty.
I know, right? Having Spielberg and Scorsese involved just adds a whole other level of anticipation to this,
It does. So is it a remake, a sequel? What is it?
It's being described as a reimagining of that, classic thriller exploring America's fascination with true crime, with Adams and Bardem leading the cast and, those legendary directors behind the scenes. This series has all the makings of a massive hit, for sure.
It really does. True crime stories always seem to capture our attention, don't they?
They do.
It's that blend of fear and fascination and, that desire to understand the darkest corners of, human nature.
Yeah, and it's important to remember, the real lives affected by these crimes. The victims and their families, they often get lost in the sensationalized headlines, unfortunately.
Right, for sure.
Okay, well, let's switch gears to something a bit more heartwarming. BBC Studios has acquired the global rights to Zog, which is a new animated series for kids.
Oh, cute. What's it about?
It's based on the beloved books by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler, who are the duo behind The Gruffalo. Their stories are known for, having these really charming characters, whimsical adventures, and beautiful illustrations.
Oh, I love their books. My kids grew up on those.
They're great, and the animation for Zog is being handled by Magic Light Pictures, which is the studio that actually brought The Gruffalo to life on screen, so they have a real knack for creating visually stunning and, emotionally engaging adaptations of these really popular children's books.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to see, children's programming that's both entertaining and enriching, right?
It is.
I think Zug will spark imagination, teach some valuable lessons, and bring families together for some quality viewing time.
It sounds wonderful. Okay, well, we've got a bit of industry news now. Granite Entertainment has picked up a documentary about the iconic singer-songwriter Janis Ian, and it's called Breaking Silence.
Janis Ian, she's a legend.
She is.
Her music, especially her song At 17, it's just resonated with generations.
For sure.
This documentary, it promises to explore her journey as an artist and an activist. It's going to offer a real intimate glimpse into her life and the impact her music has had, on the world.
Absolutely. And speaking of legends, Titus Welliver, who is known for his role as Harry Bosch in the Amazon series Bosch, he has signed a first-look deal with Amazon and MGM Studios.
Oh, that's great news. He's a fantastic actor. And, Bosch was such a critically acclaimed series. This deal gives him the opportunity, to develop new projects and bring his creative vision to life, which is exciting.
It is. Okay, well, in other deal news, Radio Silence, which is the filmmaking team behind the latest Scream movie, has signed with CAA for representation.
CAA. Wow, that's one of the most powerful talent agencies in Hollywood.
It is.
This partnership could open so many doors for Radio Silence, help them secure even bigger projects. They're clearly talented filmmakers. Their success with the Scream franchise just proves they know how to, breathe new life into a beloved horror series.
Absolutely. Okay, well, speaking of partnerships, BBC Studios is teaming up with Benny J. Asia to adapt some of their popular formats for Indian audiences.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a smart move for both companies, I think. BBC Studios has a catalog of successful formats that could really resonate with Indian viewers. And Benny J. Asia has that, local expertise to make those adaptations successful.
Right. It's a win-win situation.
It is. BBC Studios expands its global reach. Benny J. Asia gets access to, proven hits. And Indian audiences get to enjoy those shows with a local flavor.
Exactly. Everybody wins.
All right. So let's talk about a filmmaker who's known for her, her really unique and thought-provoking style. Amanda Kramer, the director behind Please Baby Please.
Oh, I've heard of her. She's a real visionary.
She is. She has a new film called By Design that's, well, it's sure to turn heads.
Oh, Oh, what's it about?
So Kramer's films are always visually striking and, they challenge that conventional storytelling. This one's about a woman whose obsession with an antique chair takes a surreal turn when she becomes the chair itself.
Wow, that's not something you hear every day. It sounds like a film that will like blur the lines between reality and fantasy and, psychological thriller all at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And the cast is amazing. Juliette Lewis, Mobu Athi, Samantha Mathis, and Robin Tunney are all a part of this.
Wow, they're all such talented actors. They're sure to bring, Kramer's unique vision to life.
All right, well, from the world of independent cinema, we have some news from the Berlin Film Festival. Ivan Fund, the Argentine filmmaker who is known for his really atmospheric and often unsettling films, is premiering his new movie, The Message.
Oh, interesting. Fun's films, they often explore that, the darker side of human nature and the complexities of relationships. What's the message about?
So it follows a young psychic who travels Argentina's countryside, communicating with animals.
Wow. Okay, that's a concept that blends, elements of magical realism, psychological drama, and like an exploration of our connection to the natural world.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how Fund brings this, unique story to life.
Okay, well, unfortunately, not all the news from the film festival circuit is positive. There have been reports of online leaks from the Sundance Film Festival.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
It is Twenlis and Selena Los Nimots were leaked online, which could potentially impact their chances of, securing distribution deals and finding a wider audience, which is really sad.
It is. Sundance is such an important, launch pad for independent films.
It is.
These leaks could really undermine all that hard work and, the creative vision of those filmmakers.
Yeah, it's a nightmare scenario for those filmmakers involved. It highlights, those challenges of protecting creative content in the digital age. Piracy and unauthorized distribution can have, a devastating impact on the film industry, especially for those independent filmmakers.
It's true. It's a real problem. Well, it looks like we've reached the end of our deep dive into the entertainment industry.
Oh, already?
We covered a lot of ground, from the latest trends and, deals to the stories and people shaping the future of movies and TV.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has. I think one thing that really stood out to me is the increasing globalization of entertainment. We're seeing more international collaborations, adaptations for different cultures, and that recognition that, great stories can come from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and with the rise of streaming platforms, audiences have access to like a much wider variety of content than ever before. It really is an exciting time to be, a consumer of entertainment.
It is.
And as we wrap up, I think it's worth pondering, the future of this industry. What kind of stories will we be watching in 5 years, 10 years? What role will technology play in shaping those stories,
Those are great questions to consider. Will we see like more AI-generated content?
Oh, yeah.
Will virtual reality become like a mainstream form of entertainment? Who knows? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. The entertainment industry will continue to surprise us, with its innovation and creativity.
It always does. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the entertainment industry. It's been a blast exploring this world with you. Until next time, keep watching, keep listening, and, keep those creative sparks flying.
And remember, the best stories are the ones that stay with you, long after the credits roll.